that we have evidence and statements that have come in that will be part of an overall investigation, and that we will have physical evidence. Deputy Chief Barmore, please.
Why did he make those comments? Ask us that when you tell us to wait for the entire investigation I know, and he labeled that as facts. He should not label it as facts. He should say that's a police officer's version, which are not facts. That's exactly.
Appreciate your comments, but let me say again, my commitment that I made and will stand behind, as will all of us here, that there is a lot of additional evidence that has not been gathered or is in the process of being reviewed, sent to the State Crime Lab for review. And as you know, as a former prosecutor, that forensic evidence is going to have a lot to do with things Deputy Chief Barmore, if you can talk, if you'd like, about what types of things are examined in the forensic evidence that will have a lot to do in terms of trying to explain where people were when it happened.
But so, the issue was, why did he make that statement?
I understand your concerns. Thank you.
Did you retract those statements?
Yeah, thank
you. Sir, the investigation, based upon what the attorney said, the investigation has been initiated on a fictitious foundation. They've already cast aspersions on and criminalized and demonized the young brother that was killed. That's what we continue to talk about.
Well,
if in fact Epperson's statement is not retracted, he gives the public and the investigative team the impression that it was justified or if in fact we're going to have integrous dialogue in the future, and that there's going to be trust between the African American community and the Rockford Police Department, that statement needs to be retracted and printed in the news media, just like the misstatement was printed in the news media.
Listen, I'm going to take questions if there's questions. I appreciate those comments and concerns. And we have any other questions from the media? Hey, look.
Be treated the same way it would have been treated had it been one of those police officers shot. Is that investigation going to still go back?
A couple things. I'm going to ask that two things. Number one, I'm going to take the last couple of questions here from the folks who patiently had their hands up before I take random shouts from the crowd. Number two, as I said before, we have a crowded room here. As I asked earlier, we have to keep the aisles, all of the aisles of the doors, including that aisle right there. Officers, I'd ask Officer Welsh if you could clear these aisles and clear all of them. And if you have your hand up, we'll take those questions. And I appreciate the other comments that we've had. Yes, sir.
I would just like to make a comment that I believe in Jesus' name that this is a seed for us to start to begin healing in Rockford. And that we need to not rush quickly to judgment. And we need not to lose faith in our mayor, because I do believe that our mayor has the best interests of all Rockford citizens in hand.
Thank you. A couple more questions.
Your whole meeting was about procedure. I would like to know, and they're right now without you dancing around the question, what's the proper procedure for a policeman to open fire in a church full of children? Because they put every child, every man and woman in that church in danger. The situation could have been not only that one boy, that child, that's somebody's child, but every child in there could have got hit by a bullet that ripped James. What's the procedure for that? What's the answer for that? You all have an answer for that?
Two things are going to happen right now. I will answer your question, but I'm going to ask all of our officers to clear these aisles immediately, and I will answer that question afterwards. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody's patience. And like I said, I will stay here and I'll answer questions. But I want to make sure we do this in a civil manner. Ma'am, you asked an excellent question. And that's the same question myself as a parent of children who go to can be put in a situation, daughter who's been in daycare in the past. I ask a lot of the same questions about tactics and how our officers perform their duty. Those are all fair questions to ask. Absolutely fair questions to ask. And that is the exact same thing I said earlier in my other meeting. That being said, there's two, I want to make very clear, two aspects of what has to happen. The first is the question of whether or not there was a justifiable discharge of firearms, use of force, and whether or not, or there was a crime committed. And that's the ultimate decision as one of the opportunities or possibilities that's been used in the past. The grand jury has to decide that. There's a second question. Whether or not, independent of that decision that's made by the state's attorney's office and a grand jury to pursue on the criminal side, we as a department will have to examine whether or not appropriate tactics were used, whether or not we acted appropriately, which would have been a question we would have to ask ourselves, and we do ask ourselves, as the chief tried to explain, in our new use of force policies. We have supervisors who go down, whether or not it ends up with someone being killed, as in this case, or if there was an issue in which someone's taken, frankly, anytime someone's taken to the hospital involved with our officers, we do a full use of force analysis, and we have to ask the questions, did we act within our procedures or not act within our procedures? Do our procedures need to be changed? And I'm trying to answer your question, ma'am, as best I can. But the way you asked that question would have me speaking about facts in this case, and I simply can't do it. We will be, at an appropriate time, commenting that, but as I've said at the very start of this, I can't rush to judgment. The chief can't, any of us can, and still have a credible system.
Mayor, you're not a policeman. He is. Is he capable enough to answer his department question? He's been elected to be a sheriff. He should answer these police's procedures.
Two things. He's not.
He hasn't had you.
Two
He
things.
need to answer these questions by himself.
Sir?
And be his own man and answer questions. The sheriff, police, he represents the police department.
We have to put procedural.
I appreciate your
The mayor and the police are two different things.
All right, appreciate your comment. Is there other questions? Yes, ma'am.
That's my son's father who y'all killed. I just like to say, usually, I see Mayor on TV, you look like you're doing your job. I see Chief Epperson and all them. But what I got to say is, as far as y'all said it was justifiable on an unarmed man, like, what y'all gonna do? Where y'all gonna go from here? Because, see, you can't ask these people questions, and we all here got the same questions, and we hoping y'all gonna give us some answers that make sense. Because, honestly, excuse my French, y'all know y'all f***ed up. Y'all really f***ed up.
Officer, I'd ask that you remove this, ma'am. We don't use that language in this chamber, is number one. Number two, and I just want to, and this will be our last question that I'm going to take right now. No one has made a statement. No one up here has made a statement about whether this was a justified or unjustified shooting. And that's why we are going to wait and not rush to judgment. I want to thank everyone for being here. I'll stick around. I'm going to take questions after. I'll be up here. Thank you.